All right. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to this week's Freedom Friday. We are going to get started with the co-working session. The co-planning session is just about 5 minutes, but first and foremost, I want to welcome you. Welcome. I'm so happy you're here. Um, if you are here, or this is for you, I should say, if you are a workaholic, corporate professional, a workaholic, entrepreneur, a strong Black woman who has a very tight schedule that's always keeping everything afloat for everyone else, is always on all the time. Like you get stuff done, and you realize that you've been doing that by sacrificing some of the fun, some of the rest, some of the joy that is what you're actually working for. And you're like, I don't want to sacrifice those things anymore. I want to create a lifestyle where I have both the work and the passion and the fulfillment, but you also have a life where you enjoy rest, have fun, and do all the things that you love. And you want to make time to be able to do both of those things. Well, that's exactly what we do every Friday here in this co-planning session. We take some time to celebrate your wins from the week because the other thing that bad habit that we do as workaholics is that we don't stop to recognize just how much progress we made. And so we always feel like we're behind, but the truth is we're not behind. We're exactly where we need to be. We're making great progress, and we stop to do that, or we recognize that we're doing that by stopping to celebrate our wins from the week. So that's first and foremost the first thing we do on First Fridays or Freedom Fridays. And then the next thing we do is that we take some time right here in this hour and we set next week's schedule up. And we do that by using our time and energy budget, by looking at the things that we know are coming for the next week and having intentionality about how much time we're going to spend on them, and really time blocking that time out in our schedule so that we can do it well. And not just the work, making sure that we time block time for fun, time for rest, time for daydreaming, because we need all of those different things to show up as our best self. So that's the second thing we do. We set next week's schedule up for success. And then the third thing we're going to do is that we are going to start winding down for the weekend. um, when we don't do these things with intentionality, it's very easy to take our week into the weekend. So we actually don't get as much rest as we could. And not only that, it just overflows into the week after because we never take this intentional time to say, I'm letting go of what didn't or did get done from this week, setting up myself to take a pause, and then resetting for next week. And this is all about putting intentionality behind that. So, the third thing that we do is that we are going to wind down from the week. And that is always fun and freeing. And I'm excited to do that part just as much as the other part, but maybe just a little bit more. Don't judge me. So, I'm very excited you're here. If you have not yet, I would love for you to head over to my website to download the companion worksheet that's here on the screen. You're going to go to freedomfridays.yourdreamstrategist.com, and we will email you that worksheet right here, right now, so that you can get into this session and do the tasks while I'm doing them right here with you. I love to think of this as a like workout session. All you have to do is show up, listen to the teacher, and do the thing, and your workout is done. You've done it with your friends, you feel good about it, and even though it was, like, hard to get started, you are able to, like, really get into it, get it done, and feel good afterwards. Like, that is exactly what we're going to be doing today in this session. So, go ahead, head over to my website at freedomfridays.yourdreamstrategist.com to get your worksheet so that when we start in the next 25 seconds, you're ready to jump in with us. While you're headed over to that website, I just want to make sure that I can see the comments when they come through. I'm hoping that um, we get some people live today. This has been such um, a great weekly session over the last couple weeks. And so, yes, we're ready to go ahead and jump in. So, as I said, welcome. I'm so excited for you to be here. The first thing we're going to do here is really spend some time. Getting into the reflection from our week. Reflecting on our week is seeing what did we get done, what did we not get done, and then making some decisions about how we want to use that information going forward. Now, I'm just going to pause for a second because I'm on a roll and I can't find what I'm looking for. I hate when that happens. Appreciate your patience. Where is it? Window. There we go. Okay, and then Mimi is here as well. Yes, hey Mimi. So excited that you got a chance to join this week too. And I'm sad we didn't get a chance to meet up in person. We're gonna figure that out. But yes. Okay. So yes, we're starting with our reflection from this week. And I want to go ahead and jump in. This is gonna be a good time. So with that being said, the first thing that I want you to do, take a look at your schedule from this week, and just take a pause and think about what are three things that you are celebrating from this past week. What are you celebrating from this past week? Okay, so while you're thinking, let me think about what I am celebrating. Let's see. This week, it right now it's Friday. Okay, so I've been in Atlanta since Monday. I had to think about what the heck happened this week. That's another thing about when you don't pause to reflect on the week. The weeks just all blend together, and you're like, wait, what did I even do? So, yes, I've been in Atlanta this whole week. I am celebrating that. Okay, so I came to Atlanta because my father was supposed to be in town. And then he actually got a little sick and had to go to the doctor, and he didn't get a chance to make it to Atlanta. But what I'm celebrating about that is that he wasn't on a plane when it happened, and he's getting to a doctor and he's getting the help that he needs. And while I'm sad that I didn't get to see him from out of town, I am also very glad that he's okay and that he's getting the help that he needs. And I got to FaceTime him and my stepmom this morning. So there's always an upside, where it's good to see the silver lining, and I'm optimistic that everything will be good. So that's one thing that I'm celebrating. The second thing that I'm celebrating, let me see. Last night I went dancing and I danced from 9 to 1:15 this morning, and it was really good for me. Now, I love, or if you follow me, you know that I go dancing every Thursday. Dancing in Charlotte is a little bit different than dancing in Atlanta, being that there's a little bit more advanced dancers here, but it was really good. It reminded me that there's so much more to continue to grow into this dance, and I had a lot of fun. I laughed the whole time. I lost a whole 2.5 pounds this morning when I got on the scale. So I'll take that. That is a win as well. So, oh, thank you, Mimi. I appreciate that. I'm glad he's okay too. I'm really glad that he's okay. So yes, that was my dad and then dancing. And what's the third thing I'm celebrating this week? Oh, I had a fun date yesterday. It was a lot of fun. So we went and had popsicles. My favorite popsicles are King of Pops popsicles here in Atlanta. So if you're ever in Atlanta, I like to go to Pont City Market, and there's a booth on the inside and one on the outside, and you can get popsicles. My favorite popsicles are the cookies and cream. It's literally two Chips Ahoy cookies inside of like a coconut cream ice cream base, and it's really delicious. So I love that's my first one. And then the second one is the chocolate sea salt. Those are my two favorite popsicles. Now, here's the funny thing. I'm not really big on chocolate and things like that, but I actually really love those 2. Their fruity flavors tend to be very interesting twists. They're not bad, just not my preference. I definitely the chocolate wins over that. So, oh your goodness, what happened, Mimi? What happened? Maybe it was the popsicles, but yes, I hope that the next time that you're in Atlanta, you go and get a popsicle. Also, there are two in Pont City Market. So I used to live here in Atlanta. They out here with gourmet popsicles. Yes, girl, you got to try those popsicles. They are amazing. I mean, and you pay for the gourmetness, but it's delicious. It's worth it. I had two popsicles. I had both of my favorite popsicles while I was there yesterday. So you have to make sure you try one at the beginning of the day and another one at the end of the day. Um, so yes, make sure you try that. Excuse me. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say. So I used to live in Atlanta, but Potts was a little bit different, and they've got a couple new things in there that I just fell in love with. So there's two like collective places, one where they have different booths from different small business owner vendors, and I walked through there. Man, they have some amazing products in there. My favorite one, crap, I don't remember her name, but she has a booth right at the front on the far left wall. It's a black woman that makes hats. The woman had a hat on, was looking fly. She was super nice, great to talk to. I'm like, if I wore more hats, I would go, and I might need to wear more hats just to go back and buy a hat because she was making some amazing, beautiful, beautiful hats. Um, at her booth. So, and it was laid out. You could tell she put a lot of thought into the decor, worthy of, I'm sure, every single bit of it. She did a great job. So that was one thing. Um, so that was all the way on one end of Pont City Market on the second floor. Then on the other end of Pont City Market on the second floor as well, there was a store that had a lot of different products and they were all from, it was like, I think she said 95% of the products in that store were Black owned women businesses. And man, they had some cute stuff. If I was if I had the money and that was in my budget, I'd have went in there and bought half of the store. Like that's how many cute things. So I did get one of their cards um, as we walked through there. So that was a lot of fun too. So yes, that is my top three things. I'm glad that my dad is okay. I had a great time going dancing last night, and I got to walk through Pont City Market yesterday. Had a good date. Um, so it was good. A lot of good things that happened yesterday. Also, I mean, now this is a fourth thing. This is icing on the cake, I guess I should say, or but I'm really excited about um the things that are coming in my business coming up. I promise I did not forget about that series. I'm actually prepping to record this weekend, so I'll be recording the first video. And when I say this series, I mean that I'm talking about the vision board, like vision board with me. So I think that's what I'm going to call it because I'm going to walk you through all the steps that I do to create my vision board. It's going to take a couple weeks only because I'm breaking it down and it can be a lot of work if you've never done it before. But if you follow the steps, remember you're not behind because your vision board wasn't done on January 1st. You still have the whole year and you can still make the most of it. So, don't overthink it or don't feel bad that you don't have it done. This is going to be the perfect time to still do it and get the most out of it in a way that I'm sure you didn't even imagine because I'm so nerdy about doing this stuff. So that first video is going to be coming this coming Wednesday. Um, while we do these lives on Friday, my pre-recorded videos are going to come out on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. So if you're not subscribed and all of that sounds exciting to you, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you turn on notifications. Lord have mercy. I promise my brain works. And then let me know if you have any thoughts. Okay. Yes. Okay. So here's Mimi. I love it. I love that you go ahead and I love that you celebrate. You tell me all the things you're celebrating. Let me put it on the screen. Up. It's in a weird spot. Let me do that. Okay, so Mimi says, I'm celebrating number one, attending the ballroom dance lessons. That's amazing. I'm so glad that you went. I actually learned ballroom second, so I'm glad that you're learning it. It's a really great way to start dancing. I'm so excited for you. And then number two, finishing the book Sisterhood Heals for my book club. Oh, very interesting. I'm gonna have to write that down so I can check that book out. I would love, maybe if you get a chance in the comments, tell me what was your favorite part about the book. Um, yes, definitely let me know. That'd be interesting. And then number three, you're starting my Spanish learning, which I've been procrastinating on for months. I understand procrastinating, but hoorah for you going ahead and starting. That's worth the celebration. Yeah, starting a new language is not that easy, but you're starting it, and as long as you have it in your routines, and your time and energy budget, you can make time for it as many times a week as you need to be able to make the progress that you need. So that's super exciting. I love that goal and that we could create a habit ritual behind it to help you succeed at doing it. It's so exciting. Yes, congratulations on all those things. Yes. Okay. And then you also say, let me see. You said, yes, I'm looking forward to that vision board series since I want to do another vision board with intention this time. Come on, girl. This is going to be exactly what that is. It's going to give you steps. You're going to look at this vision board, and I would love for after you do the second one using this series, tell me how you feel the differences between the two. Like I want to know, is it helpful, and what do you think would make it even better? But I'm really excited for you to use this series going forward. It's going to be amazing. Okay. And then the other thing you said, Sisterhood Heals is a wonderful book. I loved it because it was a beautiful guide for how to be a great friend to your sisters and just how much of those relationships nourish us all when we go through life. Yes, go through life. I relate to that so much. I've lived in so many cities. I've told you guys this occasionally, but I've lived in 15 cities in the States. When I traveled for those 3 years, I lived in 15 different countries. Um, yeah, 15 different countries. And to have friends that no matter where I go, their relationships transcend that I can not speak to them every day, but we can still relate and pick up like it was yesterday. To be able to tell them about my good times and tell them about my bad times, to hear their good times and their bad times and feel truly connected by them. And it's been grounded in a friendship that'll last forever is so, so huge. I'm definitely gonna have to read that book. That sounds like it's right up my alley. So a deep part of my passion and what makes it easier to travel. I think one of the things that people don't talk about when they travel, maybe I'll make a video about this, is one, it's really hard to maintain your habits and routines when you're traveling those life systems. It can be hard because you don't have some of the things you usually have. Like for this week, I haven't been able to do my walk and work every day because I don't have a treadmill that I travel with. Um, so I've had to find other ways to get my cardio in this week. So that's on one hand, just those kind of routines. But then on the other hand, your friendships, your relationships, friendships that, you're used to engaging with that person in person, but then you're now in one country and they're in another. How do you keep that same kind of relationship and not get into this place where you feel lonely? It's a whole thing. So I feel like sometimes we over romanticize travel and forget about those things. And you kind of have to take some pros and cons and have a little bit of both. So, okay, I'm on a rant. I'm gonna get off that rant. Thank you for sharing all of those things, Mimi. I'm very excited to hear about that. I'm definitely gonna check out that book for sure. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move into our reflection time. So I did not figure this part out last week, but um, there is ability. I haven't figured out how to make the music sound so that you can hear it. You kind of just hear, I went back and listened to it. You don't hear much of the music through here. Let me see. I'm gonna figure that out for next week though. That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on to our next step. First, let me read this comment that Mimi just said. Yes, that is a great video idea, but I think we thrive on stability as humans, so it's good to anticipate and plan for those situations. Exactly. I think the more that we anticipate and plan for the situations, the better we do when we end up in them, rather than just falling into them and thinking, oh, I'll just figure it out when I get there. I winging it, I mean, I know that so many people talk about winging it like it's a good thing, but it that intentionality is way better. I'll say it that way. I'm not saying that winging it is a bad thing. I'm saying that intentionality is better for when you're actually trying to success. If you're just trying to be mediocre, wing it the whole way through. Sometimes you will get great things. Um, but honestly, when you give yourself a chance to think about it beforehand and then not go so far as to try to make it perfect, but have a little bit of plan and process and a little bit of a plan in place that you can adapt, sets you up way better for success than not having anything planned or having not thought about it at all beforehand. So yes, I love that. It's a great, I think that's a, maybe we could do, maybe we should partner and do a collab video on that. I think that'd be good. We'll keep that in mind. Okay, so yes, let's go ahead and move on to our um, onto our reflection. So, in this section, we are going to spend about 10 minutes just looking at our schedule for this week and writing out what are the things that we did not get done. And then we're going to assess, make decisions about what to do with those things. And so that we can start getting into planning. So, the way that I like to do that, again, I said last week that I wanted to be a little bit more diligent about showing you exactly what I do. So I have, this is the view of my iPad. If I can get my pencil out of here. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, let's not show you my password. There we go. Okay. So what I have open here on the screen is on the left side is the worksheet that I told you guys about that you could download at freedomfridays.yourdreamstrategist.com. So this is the walkthrough worksheet that we do to go through the different steps of this process. And then on the right side is my favorite planner, Sunsama. And one of the things that I love about this planner is that if I don't check things off as I go through the week, it adds it to the next day. So these are all the things that I haven't accomplished this week. It's all in one list already. So I've kind of already done this section already because Sansama has helped me do it beforehand. And it's like a little bit of my cheat code because I don't come back and necessarily write it out here. So I'm not going to spend too much time here. I'm actually going to move on to the next page and start choosing my objectives and deciding, actually I want to go back this way. I had that on the wrong page, sorry. So let me delete that. There we go. This is the section. So this is where we already talked about the things that we're celebrating for the week. We wrote those were the things that were from here. And then in this section, this is where I would gather the list of all the different things that I didn't accomplish for this week. And since I have Sansama to help me do that. I already have that full list here, and I'm not going to write them over on this worksheet because I already have them. Now, if you don't have your worksheet and you are just looking at your Google Calendar and you're looking at, wow, if you were doing this, I would suggest you open your Google Calendar, look at all the things that you scheduled for this week from last week, check off the things that you know you did, and then make a list of the things that you know you didn't do. Or even if you don't want to write that list over, keep track of what things that you didn't do last week so that you can reschedule them on this week once you decide if, and once we go through this next exercise, okay? So going through this next exercise is about deciding the task that you did not get done for this week. Did you not get it done because it was important but not urgent? Was it important and urgent? Was it not important and not urgent? Or was it not important, and urgent. So those are the different things that you want to be looking at this list to decide. So I'm going to look at mine. My first one, the YouTube bios. It's important, but it's not urgent because I haven't decided if I really want to change my bio yet. So I'm going to do what I would do is I would put this update bios. That would be here. Now, what you can't see is there was actual multiple tasks on this. So I already did the one already because I knew that I wanted to do that and that was actually an easy to do. So this is another thing that I love about Sansama. If you do subtasks, you can mark off one subtask and then maybe you still have the other one to do, but it'll leave it on that list until you finish the whole task. Okay. So then another thing that I want to do is move all meeting types. I'm been originally using Calendly, but I decided to switch over to Google Individual because I could do professional email and all of that in one place. So I want to combine it so that I'm not paying for multiple things. Now, I haven't completely decided that I like um, Google Workspace Scheduler yet, but I want to move them over so that I can start testing that out. So that's another thing that I'm going to do here. I would say it's important as well, but it's not urgent. So I'm going to add that here as well. And I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit. Move. Now I can also say, um, excuse me, um, I'm writing these things in this box again for the sake of you seeing how I would work through this myself. But I actually could just make some decisions and move things around. But I want you to see how to use the worksheet, especially if you're not using Sansama, because this is more of a manual process if you're not using Sansama. So, again, if you're interested in trying Sansama out, go to my description. You can do a free trial for, I believe it's a month, and to be able to really try this program out. And then, if it's working for you, continue using it. It is a monthly subscription, but I found that to be worth it. Okay. Okay. So then bookkeeping for the year, again, it is important. And oops, it's important, but not urgent. I need to get it done very soon by the end of February, but not in the next week necessarily. So um, bookkeeping for the year. Also, I know that if you're working through this and you have any questions as well, like go ahead and let me know in the chat and I'll make sure to answer them as I'm going through. The InstaSci highlights, I definitely want to do this next week. So I'm going to put that here. Um, and then I want to do this too. This is important as well. I want to do this. So my funnel data analysis is a monthly analysis that I did. And since I just finished the month, I want to spend some time doing this as well. Excuse me. Another thing that I like to do at the end of the month, and I'm not sure how I'm going to add this into our schedule, but at the end of the month, I like to do a monthly reflection to look back at how well I've lived into my values for this month. Because as a part of getting out of this workaholic mentality, it is making sure I'm being intentional about living into my values. And that means that I take some time to reflect on how well I've done that every month. Um, so I haven't decided if I'm going to do that as a separate live. That's literally on the last day of every month. I don't know yet. Or maybe I'll just do it as an additional, the first Friday of every month. Maybe I do a little longer. Let me know which one of those do you think would work better for you? Would you prefer to do the monthly reflection on the last day of every month, or would you like to see it as an additional thing that we talk about? Um, at the end of our Freedom Fridays on the first Friday of every new month so that we're reflecting on the month beforehand. Let me know which one of those feel better for you. Okay, so 10 minutes to engage. This is not an old task. This is from today. The workday startup routine is from today, and I've actually done that already, so I'm going to check it off. Um, Morning workout, I have not finished that yet. So the rest of these things are all things from today. So these are just the tasks that I did not complete for last week. And these are the ones I needed to decide how I'm going to proceed for next week. And we got that done within the 10 minutes. So how is that working for you? How many things do you have left to work through? And I should stop. That gives you only 60 seconds, but I really wanted to take some time to walk through how to do that assessment today. So just so you know, I'm being quiet so I can give you a chance to do the same task that I just did. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or thoughts about it. Let me check this too while the last day of every month is a great day to reflect on how it went and go into the next month with a clean slate. Okay. All right, so then that means we would have done it last Wednesday. Okay, so I'll look at getting that set up for next month, or excuse me, the end of February, because we're already in next month. Um, and then I think for today, I think we will go ahead and allow. We'll go ahead and uh, just talk about it at the end of this. Okay. So now I'm moving into the time where I'm actually spending this time to set up my schedule for next week. So let me get, I have a couple notifications I'm going to ignore, but there we go. So this is the same schedule that you could see on my iPad when I was sharing my iPad screen. Now I have it here on my laptop because this part is a little bit easier to do when I'm not writing. That's why I did the first part on my laptop so that I could write and actually fill out the worksheet. It's easier to process that way. And it makes it feel more tangible rather than just typing away. Sometimes you take it however feels better for you. Excuse me. So now, updating the YouTube bio. So remember, I said that it was important but not urgent. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to push this to um, not the next Monday, the 5th, but I'm going to push it a week back past that. So I'm moving it to the 5th first, and then I'm actually going to say move to next week, and that is going to move it to the 12th. You see this move to the date. Because while that is important, there are a couple other things that I really need to finish first before I can make a decision if I really want to update my YouTube bio or not. Same thing with this. It's not that I need to have a pretest done. It's just not the most important thing right now. So I'm moving it to Monday, and then I'm moving it back another week because I can do that a little bit later. Excuse me. This I'm actually going to move to next week Saturday. So I have 2 weeks scheduled for this. I'm gonna close that, and I'm putting this on my to-do list for next week Saturday. Okay. So now I'm just making sure I check off the things that I needed to reschedule from this week on my worksheet. So check that off. I decided about that and I decided about that. Okay, so the most important things that I want to accomplish next week that were important and urgent, the ones that were in that second box on the right, were my Instagram or Insta site highlights and create an email campaign for reminding people to join this live every week, and then doing my monthly funnel data analysis. So that funnel data analysis, I'm actually going to leave that for today. Today's February 2nd. I want to do that pretty close to the end of the month as possible. So that's going to be scheduled for something that I do before the day ends out. Um, And then 10 minutes to comment on today, the rest of these things. Let me see. So the create the email subscribers, I'm going to do that next week. I'm going to move that over and I'm going to do move that over. So now I'm going to shift my schedule over so that I can actually align it to Monday. So now I'm just looking at the task for next Monday. You can see I've got a lot scheduled on Monday and I have quite a few regular tasks on here anyway. So I need to be cognizant of that. Any of these that are more than 6 hours that have any colors, that means I've overbooked my day. Now, there is some grace to that because I also have my workouts and some rest things on my calendar as well. So on those days, it's going to be closer to like 16 hours of scheduled things versus 8 hours of scheduled things because I'm scheduling both my rest and my fun all in one schedule. But in addition to that, I need to be paying attention. Am I overbooking myself and not really noticing it? The best way to do that is to spend this time putting things in my actual calendar. Okay. Super important. So let me go ahead and start working through that now. So the way that I do that, okay, so this task, these are some tasks that I pushed to this week from earlier, probably from last week or the week before, and I needed to decide, okay, where was I going to put them? So, for example, as seen section in my website, this is about me showing that I've been on other podcasts, that I've been on other YouTube channels and things like that to kind of show the authority that I have created in this space. And while I love doing that, is it the most important thing? I'm more passionate about making sure I talk to you guys. So yes, I do want to do this. Is it that important that it needs to be done before the other things that I have going on? No, it's not. So I'm going to move this back another week, which I put that on the next week on Monday because then it reminds me to make an intentional decision about it once again. Okay. The other thing that I could do is move it to the backlog. I'm not at a place where I know I don't want to, it's not like I don't want to do it. It's just not the top priority on the list. And this is a good way to keep track of all the priorities that you have um, without feeling like you have to do them today. That's how relate to this. Okay, so then with Sansama, remember I'm in Sansama and I'm doing my planning. 10 minutes to engage, track funnel metrics, which I do every Monday. This week I'm going to be doing video editing because I'm posting that video on Monday. And then my regular task that I would have. Okay. So, oops, this is supposed to be on Tuesday, which means I need to edit the series, change the frequency. This is supposed to be Tuesday. I went through that kind of fast, but I had a reoccurring task that was supposed to happen on Mondays. Oh, excuse me, it's supposed to happen on Tuesdays, but I had it happening on Mondays, so I needed to update it so that since I'm a new correctly where it was supposed to be. Okay. All right, so now let's start scheduling. So Monday, I'm going to be back in Charlotte, back in my own bed. I'm going to take my pictures for my workout on as soon as I get up, and then I'm going to do my morning routine. Um, After I do my reading, I'm going to engage on, oops, let me try that again. I'm going to engage on social media, and then I'm going to take some time to do my funnel tracking metrics, and then I'm going to do my workday startup routine. Oops, drag and drop it. Yep, so it doesn't overlap. Let me just check and see if there's any questions. No, okay, cool. Um, then once I get that done, the next thing I'm going to do is so this is going to be a little bit of an overlap because I will do my morning walk while I work. So I have a treadmill desk. Oops, I just realized I'm lopsided. So I have a treadmill desk, so I will walk and work and do these two things at the same time. So that's why I'm allowing them to overlap. Generally, you should not have things overlapping, okay? And then after I do that, oh, oh my goodness, that was on Wednesday. Let me remove that from the calendar. Again, so some of these are recurring on the wrong day, so I need to update that. So this change repeat frequency, this is supposed to repeat on Wednesday, not on Monday. Took that off. And then I'm going to update all incomplete instances to match starting from today. Okay, so hopefully I fix that. This is the one that it needs to overlap with. Okay, cool. So now that I have that updating, I'm going to jump into video editing after that. And as you can see, that's a pretty good chunk of work. I actually need to go back and figure out what is this on my calendar? Because it's been showing up every week now, and I don't know what that's from. So I need to double check that, and I need to decide if I'm going to delete it or not. Okay. Um, Then I'm going to do my daily income generating activities. That'll be my next thing after I get the the video editing done. And I'm actually going to be video only editing 2 videos, but I'm still going to leave that amount of time. At this beginning, when you're doing video editing, it always takes longer than when you think it will. So I'm going to give myself more time. And then I am going to uh, do my workday shutdown routine. And then I'm not actually going to do my workouts until later. I like to do my workouts around like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Oh, I just realized there's another task. Awesome. So I'm going to move this and I'm going to move this because I want to work on my reels for the week um, beforehand. Now, I don't think it's going to take me 2 hours to do that, but I'm gonna leave it because this week is a new routine. So anytime you're doing a new routine, give yourself more time than you think it will. I think that this is probably gonna take me an hour at most, but I've got 2 hours set for it. So I'm giving myself double the amount of time. All right, so now I have Monday scheduled. And as you can see, it says I have 12 hours and 40 minutes worth of time planned, but that's also because I have um my workouts on here as well. It just makes it a little easier to track which things I've done in my workout. Um, so you have to remember some of this extra planning is not necessary. It's not just my work day, it's everything. Okay. So now moving on to Tuesday, and I'm going to do the same thing. My reoccurring tasks or reoccurring meetings are already here. And I'm just going to add in my other things that need to be scheduled. And again, these two happen at the same time. I just like to keep them separate as far as tasks go. Um, Engage. And then I want to jump into creating that promotional content. So actually, I might not engage until later. And this is going to overlap. I'm probably not. I'm hoping that I can get this done in time. If not, I'm going to have to give myself some more time afterwards. That meeting actually needs to be deleted on my calendar as well. See, this also helps me see some things that I need to clean up on my calendar. Um, daily income generating activities. And then I feel like I'm going to still schedule myself to do my workday shutdown at 4 because I know that this could take longer than I think it's going to take, especially if I don't get done in time. Because the reality is I'm gonna have to stop and pause at least 15 minutes before it's time to get on this group call, make sure I'm all set up. So I know that I'm gonna need some more time afterwards. So actually, let's just go ahead and pull that down and give myself a little bit of grace right there. Oh, that still should be short. I just need to move it. So that'll give me those other things later in the afternoon to complete. And then I'm also going to make sure I do this, post my reminders on my stories about Freedom Fridays. and then do my evening workout. I'm probably going to do it around 8. Now, the one thing I just remembered for Monday, um, I'm gonna have to do my workout early on Monday because I do Kizumba every Monday now. And so that should have been on my schedule as well. Kizumba class. I thought that I had it on here, but evidently not. So I need to fix that. So I'm gonna click that here and I'm gonna make it recurring because it's just about every Monday unless I'm traveling. Um, So I click the three dots, click repeat. It's going to be Monday every week at I'm gonna say 7:30 because that's when I need to leave the house. Actually, I need to leave the house at 7:15 p.m. And it goes from I use 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. 3 hours is good. Um, and then I'm gonna drop that on Monday. Great. So that's again, Monday is a heck of a day. So let's go back to Tuesday now that I have that organized. Tuesday is a little bit lighter day, which is good, especially after having such a full day on Monday. Now let's look at Wednesday. I'm gonna set up my Rise and Shine. And as you can see, this gets easier once you get the hang of doing this every week. Um, you really get to this point where you can drag and drop this relatively easy because you know mentally what you're doing, but you're also making sure you're setting that time aside on your schedule so that you don't start overbooking yourself. Oh, I want to undo that. Um, where did I drop that? Oh, I hate when that happens. Sometimes if I hold things a little bit too long, it gets pulled to something behind. Okay, I need to figure out where that task went. I will figure that out. Okay, then after that, I'm going to do this. Oh, here it is. My workday started routine. There we go. So those two overlap, and then this is the most important thing. So my video goes live. My YouTube video goes live every morning at 9 a.m. So these are the tasks that I do after that. I want to hide the subtasks so that it could be more combined. Then I'm going to do my daily income generating tasks. Um, have that call to now. The other thing that is happening um, is I will be doing probably, it depends on if we get submissions, but I do have some other things that may come up that I might have to prioritize, which is the other reason why it's good that I left some flexible time on Monday. Excuse me, not Mondays. Mondays are all mine, but some flexible time on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday because I might be doing feedback. So I'm actually going to set up my workday shutdown routine at about 4:30. But then this task for feedback, I'm going to put it on to Wednesday, because I have a feeling that I'm going to have some of that to do. And I actually think that I'm going to put another copy of that on. Nope, I'm not going to put another copy of that on Tuesday because I don't have time. Again, a good reason why we're doing this so we can tangibly see when we have time to do things and not. Um, Then, okay, so just about everything on Wednesday is scheduled except my evening workout. So let's go ahead and put that in. Nope, I held that too long again. So that's 8 and then 9. Okay, so those are my workouts for next week, especially since I'll be back home. It'll be easier to get back into the thick of that. And then I go dancing on Thursday night. So the Thursday morning routine will be a little bit different. Um, so let's drag and drop my morning routine. It's going to be 7:30. Post the reminders need to go out around the time. that I'm reminding you guys. Workday startup routine. And as you can see here, like I can just rip and roll through this. Feedback. Um, I'm going to move this reminder up. That's to follow up with a lead that is interested in joining my program. And then my morning workout. So this morning workout, rather than it being cardio, um, it's going to be actually lifting weights. So actually, I want to do that a little bit different. Let's do this because it can't overlap since I'm not going to be walking. It's not a walk and work. It's going to be a little different. And this is fine. I'll just pause for a couple minutes to do that and then jump back in and then engage with some content, do my daily activities, post task, and actually let's move that earlier. So move that here. Oop. So we almost got this full schedule done in the 20 minutes. It's taking me just a little bit longer because I did some talking at the beginning. But you can see that once you get the hang of this, especially if you're using Sensama, I have to say Sensama is a great tool to help simplify this process. And I know like paying for it can be a pain depending on your mindset up behind it, but it really does simplify it. Um, Stepping is here. That's what the social dancing is. I'm just going to overlap that. I keep it in my calendar so that um, nobody books a call during that time because sometimes I have evening hours. But then I'm going to do my workout early because so actually, let's do it that way. Yes, let's do it that way. So I'm going to move all of these things up and focus on the work in the morning. Reminder. Okay. So you guys know I'm just finishing up those last couple minutes, last couple things on my calendar. We're just about done. I was on Thursday. So you can do this all in 20 minutes, let alone be a part of doing this in this hour to get all of these things done. How did that feel? Do you have any questions, any thoughts about that? Um, I want to make sure that you're getting to see exactly how to do this so that you can really come and do this with me. Not watch me do it. Like you can watch me do it if you want, especially at the beginning when you're getting the hang of it and you're trying to understand how it all works, especially using the program. Um, and how you would use your time and energy budget to set this up on a weekly basis. Which I'll make sure that next week I really focus on showing you how I use my time and energy budget. Again, I've been using it so long, it's like ingrained in my brain. But I want you to see how you translate what you would use. And the time and energy budget is in the anti superhero toolkit. So I want to make sure that you see how to translate what you learn from that into actual life because it doesn't help you change your life if you don't know how to translate it. It just becomes another tool that you did and you don't really know how to use. And I don't want that for you because it has been transformational. It's been amazing, like such a big thing for helping me make the transition from being this workaholic to learning how to stop overbooking myself, to stop forcing myself to be on all the time, and actually learning how to create work space and life space. Like both can exist. There is a place a lot of people don't like the word balance, so maybe you like harmony. I like to think of it like surfing. Like standing up on a surfboard can be hard, but it's also super fun. And I haven't done it. I've heard the experience of it, but I can imagine, at the beginning, getting up on that surfboard is really wobbly, but then when you finally get it, it's this amazing balance where the water is not standing still under you. you're learning how to flow with the water. And that's the same thing with life. Life is not standing still when we're amongst it, but we're learning how to balance and move and be able to take to flow with the rhythm of it by doing some of these things that we're doing here. Okay, so that being said, now we're moving into one of my favorite parts. We're starting to um wind down for the weekend. So wait, let me see what Mimi just said. She said, "Tell me why." Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Tell me why I just learned from watching you that I could move things around on Google Calendar by dragging and dropping them. Game changer. Yes, girl. You can move them by dragging and dropping them, and it makes it so much simpler. Like there's so many great tools, and sometimes we just don't see all the little dynamics of it. So I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that that's working for you. I'm excited to hear that. Game changer. So amazing. Okay. So if you didn't get a chance to finish up that last thing, like finish up your last day of the week, which mine was Friday, don't move too far ahead. Like go ahead and do that right now, and I'll talk to you a couple minutes. I'll try not to distract you, but finish it. Like you're so close. You're almost there. Finish the last day. Finish the last day. Like finish your schedule for the week. Now, remember I talked about before I believe in having a pretty decent schedule for your weekend, but in this season that we're in right now, where you're learning, this is a new chapter of life for you. It's more important for you to get the practice of setting up your work week, whatever that work week is. If you don't work a traditional 9 to 5 during the week, whatever your work week is, I want to see you set up your schedule for your work week, and then we can work on refining how you set up your weekends once we get a couple weeks under our belt of really making this a habit to schedule our our work week. That's where we want to start. Because in our work week, that's where we're less likely to have fun and rest. Our weekend, we're more likely to prioritize fun and rest. So I'm not so worried about that. I want to make sure that you're making sure you get your hobbies in, like my Kizomba. Like I just realized I didn't put any lunches in there. Now I know I'm going to eat. I need to schedule time for lunch if I'm going to be cooking it, or I need to be scheduling meal prep time so that I have my meals prepped at the beginning of the week. So, scheduling time for meals, scheduling time for fun, like stepping or hobbies or dancing, scheduling time to do your workouts and things that empower your health. Um, the way that I help my clients decide what balance needs to help happen in their week is that in my program Meant for More, we first talk about who they are, how they want to show up in the world, and what is the power that they stand in. And we create a power statement. Once they have a power statement, then we look at what do you want your life to look like 10 years from now? And with that, we get an idea of all 8 areas of life: emotional, physical, financial, personal, professional, purposeful, relational, and spiritual. And when you look at all of those different areas of life and you say, 10 years from now, I want my relationships to look like this, my spiritual life to look like this, my physical health to look like this, then we can start breaking it down into habits and routines that empower them to start doing action that builds to that. You don't get to freedom, you don't get to that level of lifestyle without being intentional about deciding what do you actually want it to look like. So we're making that decision first, and then we break that down into routines. And that's how you know what routines need to happen on in your work week. Because if you know that you're 10 years from now, you want your physical health to be about um, not having high blood pressure, being at a certain weight, and having the energy to play with your kids, you need to start building that now. What are the eating habits that you need to change? What are the supplements that you need to implement? Maybe it's getting in touch with a naturopath to help make a path for you. But I need to start doing those now. I don't just wait till 10 years from now and hope that it happens. Like, those are things that I do to build that health that is going to manifest in 10 years because of the work I'm doing today. And so I need to make sure those things are scheduled in I'm making sure I'm doing those things as a regular habit in my work week every single week. Okay. So those are that's how you get back to the place of understanding what does balance look like. It's by understanding what you want your life to look like in the future and breaking that down to what are the things that you need to do today to make sure that you live that. Okay. So I hope that gave you enough time to finish scheduling your Friday. Okay. That being said, now let's look at winding down. It's time to wind down. It's time to wind down. Okay, we're getting ready for our weekend. So, the first thing I want you to do, I want you to take one last check and make sure that you schedule rest and fun in your calendar for this week. That's number one. Number two, it's time to start closing those extra windows on your computer. Hey, if you're not going to get to it today, you know that you created a task in your calendar to come back to it next week. You don't need to keep that window open because you already have a reminder. You've been leaving those windows open as reminders for you to come back to it when you have a chance. But now you just schedule time for yourself to do it. You don't need that window to be open anymore. Close it. Be free. Let your mind be free. There's something beautiful that happens when you close those windows and it opens up freedom physically on your computer. Like your poor computer isn't like chugga, trying to keep up with all the things that you have, all the windows that you have open. And the same is a reflection of your mindset. Your mindset doesn't have all of those windows open trying to keep up with all of those things. Okay. Close it. You've done the work to set yourself up so that you won't forget it. You will come back to it. Okay. So that's number two. Then think about what kind of dinner do you want to do for yourself today? Ooh, let me tell you, I am in Atlanta and one of my favorite restaurants is here. It's called Desta Ethiopian Kitchen, and they have this platter. Now, you know I'm veganish, or if you didn't know, now you know. I'm veganish, which means I'm whole food plant-based, but I have meat like once every 6 months, 6 weeks or so. And it's mainly because it's a dish that I remember from before that I really love. And I don't eat it that often, so my body can process it a lot better because it's not backed up with the other things from before. So I'm going to go have that for dinner today. I want to have the lamb, the filet mignon, and the tilapia. They do a platter where they give you these couple different meats, and then you can choose the sides. There's a side that's like um, stewed lentils, and then they do one with greens. Oh, and you have to get the bread. It's injera. It's my favorite. Okay. If you're not following me, there's my handle on my stories. I'll make sure that I post that on my stories tonight because I love coming to get Desta here in Atlanta. So yes, I think that's going to be my fun meal tonight. I'm also here in Atlanta with my brother. We're doing some decorating on his house. We might even get a bookcase back there if I'm lucky. So it depends on what the budget is. I don't know what the budget is. But I'm excited to start doing some decorating in his new house. So congratulations to him. So then the next thing that I'm going to do now that I've started closing down um my windows on my computer and I know what meal I'm gonna have for fun tonight. The next thing, what is the fun thing that I'm going to do? Decorating is actually with my brother is going to be a lot of fun for me. So I am looking forward to doing decorating with him. He has some things in the house now that I'm already like, okay, we need to move that here and move this here. And we'll do all of those things before we like head out to do all the work. So that'll be a lot of fun. So, yes, that'll be my fun thing that I do for this evening and probably will overlap into tomorrow. The other thing too, my God family is here in Atlanta. I won't get to see them today. Oh, excuse me. This last little bit of cold. I'll be glad when it's gone. Um, but I'm hoping that I get some to go spend some time with them tomorrow because again, when you think about why you want the work less, live more lifestyle, you want it so that you can spend your life doing the things that you enjoy. Well, the things that I enjoy is are eating good food, spending time with my closest friends and family, traveling, even just sometimes just watching TV, taking a walk. I want the time to do all of those things. And so this is helping me make the time to do those things. And one of those things is going to hang out with my goddaughters tomorrow. So the oldest goddaughter here in Atlanta is 2, and the other one I think is 6 months. And it's so funny to see them together. Nori has gotten so big, and Nyla's cute little small thing. So I'm going to go spend some time over there. So that is what I have planned for my weekend. So I am going to pull up the monthly reflection because I want to spend some time going through that today. But I want you to tell me, what do you have planned for your weekend? How are you winding down? Like what dinner are you going to do for yourself today? And what's the fun thing that you're going to do this weekend? Yeah, put that in the chat. So then while you're doing that, I want to open up. Let me see. Hopefully I can do this relatively easy. Um, nope, that wasn't it. I said I hope I could do it relatively easy, and the first thing that I did was not right. So let me try that again. More from templates. Okay. So this is an old version of the reflection, but I haven't shared this with you guys yet. I think I'm gonna have to share it with you guys. But for today, I just want you to get a chance to see it. So by the time I share it with you guys, I will have the updated version ready. So I'm getting this together. Don't forget, let me know what's the fun meal and the fun activity that you're going to do to wind down today. And while you're doing that, I am getting set up so that we can go through the monthly reflection. And then next week, what we'll do is, or not next week, the end of February, we'll do this as a separate live. This will just be a monthly live rather than this will be our weekly live on Fridays, and then the monthly reflection will be our monthly live on the last day of each month, where we look at our values for the month. Okay, so let me share my screen so that you can see. It's still going to have that same timer. Oh, okay, let's do it this way because I want you to be able to see it. Okay, and then Mimi also just let me know what she is looking at for this week. That's amazing. Oh goodness. We could do this. Here we go. I want to lock the screen so that it doesn't move. Okay, so Mimi says, I'm winding down by going to Mardi Gras themed dance party tonight. Oh, that's so fun. I have to make sure you drop your handle in the I don't know if you use social media like that, but if you think you're gonna share pictures, I would love to come see. So drop your handle so I can come check you out on your socials. And then also I signed up for dance classes throughout the week, so I'm looking forward to those almost every day. Yes, girl. Not only is I love dance, not just because of, meeting new people, but it's you're letting out endorphins in your body, like you're all the things that happen. There's just so many great benefits to dancing. And I can be like a crack addict when it comes to dance. I love dancing. So excited. So I'm happy to hear that too. I'm glad that you got that plan. I love it. Okay. Good. Good. Okay, so now let's go ahead and jump into the monthly reflection. Now, this is a pretty simple worksheet. Again, I will update this and share this with you guys so that you can do this too. But the first question here, again, this is all about going through how well have you lived into your values? And if you've never chosen your values, that's actually one of the first exercises I help my clients do in my program Meant for More, because knowing who you are, it's not just the thing about knowing yourself is that is easy for it to be this intrinsic thing, this thing that you kind of just know, but you've never had to put words to it. But when you put words to who you are and you can say, this is who I am, this is how I live it out, this is this is what my beliefs are and how I prioritize them, it becomes more than just this intrinsic thing that's floating around in your mind. They become tools like a hammer and a screwdriver for you to build the life that you want, because you will filter every decision through those values. And so when you bring them out and you have them down on paper and you do this activity of monthly reflection, you get to this place of really understanding who you are, and it's in this deep way that's more than just, it's so much more tangible when you can write it and say it out. That's the best way that I think I can explain it. It goes from being an intangible way of knowing who you are to an extremely tangible way of knowing who you are. And because it's tangible, you can then have intentionality about using it and using the power that you have and living that out. Okay. You see, I can get on a rant about this, so I won't go too much deeper. Okay, so then let me see what else Mimi said. She said, I really don't have much social media presence since I don't post anywhere. I have an Instagram account that I created for my YouTube channel. Let me find that. You know what else you can do, Mimi? I just read a post from Stephanie Perry where she said the community tab on YouTube is now what Instagram used to be, like posting pictures from your life and just giving a little blurb of like what is happening. That is, I love that idea. I think it's such a great reframe on how to use the YouTube community. So yeah, go and post the pictures there, and I will just turn on notifications and make sure that I come see them when you post them. You don't have to use your socials, girl. If you're going to build a YouTube channel and that's where you want to focus, focus there. Don't add anything extra. I'm all about keep it simple. Focus on what's most important. Okay. So hopefully that idea works. All right. So then let's get into our values. So I have, again, in my program, I teach my clients to have two main values, because when you have anything more than two, you're not going to remember them. And you're definitely not going to remember how to live them out because, and I love this. I actually got this from Brene Brown in her book, Dare to Lead. I'll make sure I put that in the description today. But in her book, Dare to Lead, she teaches you how to choose two values and then what are the behaviors when you're fully living them out, when you're not living them out, so that you can know the difference when you're like backsliding and how to get yourself back on track. When you're backsliding, it's not about beating yourself up, it's about understanding that you're falling off and using it as an intentional way to get back on, so I love that. Make sure you check out her book, Dare to Lead. I will put a link in the description when this video is over. I didn't think that I was going to talk about that today, but evidently I am. Okay, so, ooh, that's pretty neat. I've noticed a lot more people using the community tab. Yes, I think that would be a great place for you to be able to use it, especially, we love us some Stephanie Perry, and I love seeing some of the pictures that she posts over there. And it does very much remind me of what Instagram was before all of this changes started happening. So try that out. Okay, so back to my values. My first value is communication. And I like to just write it in. Oh, I do, but I don't really like the way it's coming out today. So let's try that again. I like to write it in highlighter in the background to remember what it is. Now, you can't really see that. I'm going to do it in a different way today because you're not going to be able to see that on the screen. So the first value is communication, and then the second value is dreaming. So now I want to answer the questions about each of those values. The first value, give an example of how you've lived out one of the behaviors of your first value. Again, in my program, we talk about what are the behaviors in which you live out your values. And so for me, communication, the best way that I'm living out my value of communication is sharing about hard things. And I've actually done quite a bit of that this month. And I've been confiding in some friends some of the feelings that I have had over like the holidays, really struggling with just feeling a little low and not being where I wanted to be. And allowing myself to share those with others so that I can welcome in their healing and affirmation and also encouragement to be better in that way. So that's what I'm going to write about in this first block here. Okay. Um, and then dreaming. So how have give an example of how I've lived out my value of dreaming this month. I am in a place where dreaming is more about execution. It's more about executing the dream rather than creating new dreams. And so instead of creating new dreams this month, the way that I've been living this value is bringing dreams to life. And a huge part of that has been me learning how to get more intentional and create a structure around how I put out content for my business so that I can better connect with you guys, better hear how I can serve you, and just connect on all of the things that we love, connect on the ideas and the thoughts and the community, the heart behind working less and living more, because that's the balance. That's the whole thing that this is about. So, um, I'm going to talk some about uh, this value of communication. Now, that being said, I want to restart this one section because I did more time actually just let me come up here. Um, there we go. As I actually haven't got to do the exercises yet. I'm just walking through how to do them. And so I'm actually going to do this on my own. Today, I'm just going to show you how to do it, and then I'll do this on my own. And then I'll make sure that you get the worksheet between now and the next session where we actually do this together, okay, at the end of the month. Then the next thing is to think about the three words that I want to be known for. Again, this is a part of my program as well. Again, when you can clearly say, a lot of times we have someone ask us, well, who are you? And we're like a deer in headlights. Like, how the heck do I answer that? I'm so many things. How can I narrow it down into to three? Or our mind just goes blank and we just don't have any words for it. Well, in my program, I help you bring those words out of you because, again, when you can say those words, they become tools. They become something that you can ask yourself, as long as I'm doing these three things, am I showing up fully in myself, as myself? And when you know what those words are, you can say yes or no. And if you say no, you can adjust. And if you say yes, you can pat yourself on the back and celebrate. So my three words are, oop, my first word is encouraging. I love being encouraging. Most of my clients, when they give me feedback on how it is to work with me, this is the first thing that they say, that I'm super encouraging. Um, Another one that I um, really appreciate is being a great listener. I can't spell, evidently. I might be a great listener, but I can't spell. No, I'm being dramatic. Um, Again, another thing that in the relationships, this is one of the things that people always appreciate about me. And then being a risk taker, a risk tasker, Lord have mercy, um, is a third thing. So those are the three things that I want to be known for: being encouraging, being a great listener, and then being a risk taker. And I have lived those to the fullest. Um, I will say I've actually don't think that I would usually do this, but this has been a really powerful month and it's been a really good month. It's been a hard month. I've had quite a few sad days this month, but the beauty of that is sometimes in the sad days, it makes you show up as yourself even more if you really lean to it. If you fall back and you try to hide and you try to avoid the pain, if I tried to do that, I'm sure I would have been more in these lower numbers. But since I really leaned into the pain and some of the sadness, um, I've been able to give who I am even more in a deeper, authentic way. And so I actually am going to give myself tens on all three of these. Um, Again, I think of it um, like that movie Inside Out, there's a part closer to the end where they pick up the ball of emotion, and on one side of the ball, there's joy, and on the other side, there's sadness. And it really talks about the depth of our emotions and that both can happen at the same time. And it's okay to be present in both and acknowledge that both are happening. And that's been really huge for me this month. So that's why, I mean, yes, I've had some sad times this month, but I still give this month like it's been a really good month. And I'm excited for the sadness to subside and to be more joy. But that doesn't mean that things have been bad, you know? So there's that. And then this last question, it says take a look at your why compared to your level of fulfillment for this month, and how do those two things relate? Which I just kind of described that for you. Knowing that I am mourning some things that didn't go the way that I planned, I can still be really grateful for all of the things that didn't happen. I can open my heart to forgive myself, to find another way to move forward. Because even if we always, mourning is just mourning, we don't talk about this a lot, but I actually like to talk about mourning because you mourn your dreams, you mourn when someone dies, you mourn when a relationship ends, you mourn when things don't work out as planned. And a lot of times we all struggle to move into the next thing because we haven't properly mourned the thing before. We haven't properly allowed our heart to heal, allowed ourselves to forgive ourselves for whatever part of we had in it, regardless of how big or small. We haven't allowed ourselves to process um, what happened before and how we're moving forward. But if we actually take some time and do that, man, it just changes so much for us. And we get to go into the next season more healed, happier, and freer because we've learned from that and become better and have grown in the next season. So, um, yes, that's the other reason why I love this reflection because it creates intentional time to do that over a month period, not just a week. Okay, so that is what the monthly reflection looks like. And again, like I said, we will spend some time doing that at the end of this month. So that will be on February 29th. I will keep an eye out, or you guys, I want you to keep out an eye out for that to be scheduled. I will probably schedule it like earlier that week, maybe 3 days before, not too far in advance, but know that it's coming on February 29th. Okay, so then now let's get to recapping everything that we did today. So first, let me see. Mimi said, that is such a good point. Leaning into the pain and sadness is tough and seems counterintuitive sometimes, but it really does help us acknowledge and feel them. Yes, and when we acknowledge and feel them, it allows our body to release the tension. Like there's physical effects from all of those things as well. So it allows our body to release all of those things. It allows us to process them in our mind and our soul and our physical being. Like I've taken times, I have a wonderful friend, a somatic coach, and I'm going to invite her to do a collab video with me as well. But the effects of workaholism, the effects of mourning when things don't go as planned, actually leave a physical effect on your body. And if you don't process them, they can add to your high cortisol levels, which are hormones that then create more stress, that then create high blood pressure, and all of those things in their body. Like these things all are connected, and it takes being intentional about it. So, one of the practices I've done is just, she told me to just put my hand on my heart and say, hey, you're safe. Everything's going to be fine. You are forgiven. Like things are going to get better. Even the things that are joyful are going to get even better. Like taking that time to do those things are such a grounding thing and have been super great for me this whole month as well. So, okay, so there's that. And then Mimi also said, ooh, that's a whole word. I know for sure that there are some things I haven't properly mourned, which goes back to the point you made about not wanting to feel emotions like pain and sadness. Yes, because we think when we don't mourn them that they just go away with time. And the way that I've heard it described is that you get what's called a proud wound, which means you can, if you get a wound, let's say you get a scratch on your arm and it's kind of deep, um, you can let that wound heal over on the top, but sometimes there's still infection on the inside because it wasn't cleaned out um, fully the first time through. And so you end up with infection deep in the wound, but the top layer has healed over because it wasn't processed, it wasn't taken care of the first time. And I think of it the same way with mourning. You get a deep gash, a relationship ends, a business plan doesn't work out, um, something happens with a child or a relative, a family member, and instead of dealing with the deep pain, we stuff it down in the wound and we cover it over with neosporin and allow it to topically heal, but still all the pain is still down in there, and that pain can still come out, you know? And so then in order to actually get to that pain, because it's deep down in the wounds that we have to slice that wound open and allow that pain to come out. Man, who wants to go through that again? Like, we just made it 10 times harder because we didn't allow ourselves to mourn and process the first time around. And I have done that. And now in healing, I don't want to do that anymore. So that's why I haven't rushed through the pain and mourning that I've had to process this month, because I don't want to have to open the wound later. How about that? The fear of pain in the future from the same thing is the motivation that keeps me from avoiding what I need to do now. Hey, whatever works. So yes, allow yourself to process those things now because it just helps you in the future and helps you be healed and grow to move on to the next season. Um, Mimi also said, great analogy. Great. I'm glad that that makes sense. It was a really great analogy when I heard it as well. So I can't say it's not for me, but it has one that has stuck close to my heart because it helps me relate to why I should lean into pain rather than trying to avoid it. Um, and I find it encouraging knowing that I am setting myself to be healed, not just from the inside out, but that because I've healed from the inside out, I might not even have a scar after that. Like no scars. No, like I can be even better than I was before because I've allowed it to heal from the inside out. No deep pain or anything left in addition to no scar on the top. So yes, that's how I relate to that. Okay, so now I'm going to move into closing thoughts. If you guys got any closing thoughts, make sure you go ahead and drop it in the chat so that I can share. But that being said, some closing thoughts for me. I have talked about quite a few things that I do to help my clients continue going deeper in this journey of letting go of being a superhero, because you don't have to be a superhero. You don't have to try to be everything for everybody. You get to be human. You don't have to be that strong Black woman. You don't have to be on all the time. You get to be human. And that's why I created this toolkit called the Anti Superhero Toolkit. It is about creating your time and energy budget so that when you're creating your schedule for next week, you have really budgeted the time to set it up so that you can create your work less, live more lifestyle in a super tangible way. So you're taking tangible action, shifting your life from being a workaholic into just being a human that actually gets has space to enjoy and live your life. And that serves you regardless whether you are a corporate professional, whether you're an entrepreneur, or whether you're just a strong black, not just a strong black woman, because more than likely you're multiple things within that equation. And that's giving you the space to be able to hold all of those things rather than letting any one of those things weigh you down. They do not have to do that. So this toolkit will walk you through 4 different modules to really help you get set up to take even these free sessions on Friday to the next level. So if you're interested in that, make sure you head to my description to get the link to that landing page so that you can get into that. We have a community as well if you're interested, in addition to what we have going on here. And then the other thing that I talked about today was my program Meant for More. And it's really about going deeper. Okay, now that you've created your time and energy budget, there are some other things about you, your authenticity, who you are, how you stand in your power, detoxing your workaholic tendencies, setting up your new discipline, like what do you want your new life to look like, creating that long-term vision. All of those things that I talked about today, I walk you through how to do all of those different steps so that you can go like so you can literally look up 10 years from now, not just 10 years from now. You'll look up by the end of the year and say, "Wow, my life is vastly different." And it didn't happen by accident. It happened because I chose the life that I wanted and I had the tools to build it. And so that's all of what Meant for More is all about. So if you're interested in that, again, the link is in the description as well. And then finally, if there's anything else that you're looking for, rather, I have some wonderful freebies. I have a PDF that teaches you the 4 practical steps to start creating your work life, your work less, live more lifestyle right now, like on your own, a DIY version. Um, and then I also have my webinar that shows you like I'm going to show you the overall process of how I help my clients create the work less live more lifestyle. Now I wish that I could fill it all fit it all in a webinar. I can't. But I'm going to give you that overview, and if you want to go ahead and like start plugging along at those things, I would love for you to do that. And then also if you look at that webinar and say, I really want your help. I don't want to have to figure it out. I want you to just show me what to do so that I could get the results and hurry up and get to that work less, live more lifestyle because I don't want to spend any more time trying to figure it out. I just want it now. Then I would love for us to work together. I would love for you to go ahead and at the end of that video, it'll give you some steps on how we can have a call and talk about if it's good for us to work together and go from there. So, all of those are in this link. There's a lot of great resources there. If you're looking for anything, even if you just want to email me, that's in this link as well. So, okay. So, let me see. Here, Mimi said, "Thank you so much for another great session. I have a scheduled conflict next week, so I won't be on the live, but I will see you in the following week." Okay, we will definitely miss you, Mimi. Gosh, I hope you get a chance to check the replay after it posts next week. But I love that you were able to join today, and I'm glad you enjoyed this session. I hope that all of you have enjoyed this session as well. Don't hesitate to leave comments if there's anything that you think would help you in these sessions, let me know. I would love to be able to serve you in that way. Otherwise, I hope that you have a great rest of your week. Make sure you check out those videos. And if you have not done so yet, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's get together every single week to do this because we are creating your work less, live more lifestyle right here, right now. And that's a beautiful thing. All right, you guys, signing off. Have a great day.